Gentlemen, I would like to introduce myself. My name is Abokolo. I'm the acting head of program construction law and dispute resolution at the British University in Dubai. It is with great pleasure and an honor to invite you, to welcome you to this our evening public lecture series for tonight. This is part of a series of public lectures being organized by the British University in Dubai as part of our community engagement. We had some last week. Today we are having another one which focuses on the real estate arbitration dispute. The topic is, as some of you may be aware, is very topical, very interesting for people especially working in the construction industry. And it is my honor to introduce our guest speaker by name Dr. Kamal Malas, who is the head of Kamal Malas Associate, a Dubai-based engineering and law firm. Dr. Kamal has over 35 years of practical experience in the field of law and engineering. He is accredited as an arbitrator and engineering expert in Dubai and UAE courts. He has participated in more than 75 arbitration cases and handled more than 500 real estate and construction dispute cases before UAE and Emirates courts. He has authored many articles in the field of construction law and dispute resolution. He is also the author of a book entitled The Arbitration Award, Dubai Supreme Court. Dr. Kamal is an adjunct lecturer at the British University in Dubai. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my honor to welcome you, Dr. Kamal. Please.
Thank you, Dr. Awad. Thank you very much. Can we use this one? Okay, thank you. Welcome everybody, good afternoon. It's a pleasure and honor to me to be with you today. And among you there are some known experts also in the field. Our lecture today is about real estate arbitration practical cases. Those cases, I have chosen them from the cases which I work in them, and they are special cases, have special topics. And so we will benefit from them as we see now. This is working. This is not working. No problem. Okay. Not working. No problem. Okay. Now, you know that if you have a dispute in real estate or in court, any dispute, this dispute could be solved in two main ways. First one, to have binding decisions and non-binding decisions. Today we are talking of one of the binding decisions. The binding decisions are arbitration and state courts. Today we'll talk about the arbitration. The arbitration could be institutional or ad hoc. Institutional means through an institution like the International Arbitration Center or International Chamber of Commerce. Ad hoc is an arbitration outside the courts, outside the centers, depending on the autonomy of the parties and the arbitrator who they will decide the rules of the arbitration case. Today is our lecture is about examples, not theory, so we'll start with examples here. First of all, I want to explain to you that this main case here we have seen here plots. This big plot, and there are other plots. If we have a master developer, he will divide these plots into smaller plots. So he will have developer 1, developer 2, developer 3 for this, for example, and this is plot 4 and plot 5 that he did not solve it. So he has many developers inside his plot, and we will see what will happen if there are disputes. This master developer also have purchaser for units if he build his own buildings. So now he has connection with developer, and this developer may have sub-developer and purchaser for apartments. This sub-developer will have purchasers, and also this purchaser, maybe he purchased one whole building and then he have purchaser 2, or he sell his apartment to this purchaser 2. The same thing here, the same divisions, and also here he may have purchaser. So disputes may happen between this master developer and purchaser 2, and also the dispute may happen between the developer and this master developer, between developer and sub-developer, and so on. All of these connections may have disputes, and all connected to each other with the master developer. Sometimes the master developer is having a problem because, for example, he did not make the infrastructure of the projects. All of the buildings will have problems, and then we will have cases between them. So we have now classification of real estate disputes according to parties to dispute. We have master developer versus developer, master developer versus purchaser, developer versus sub-developer, and developer versus purchaser, sub-developer versus purchaser, purchaser versus purchaser 2. So these are main kinds of classification for the real estate disputes arose between those. Now we have here the main types of real estate disputes. Dispute related to plots of the projects. There is the plots, size, availability of the plot, disputes related to design of the project, the mistakes in the design. For example, sometimes you design the building for 30 stories high, and then the municipality will not allow more than 28. And you have sold 2 stories, and then there is no 2 stories. There are problems. In each story there is 10 apartments. That means you have 20 arbitration cases in this building, which is not started yet. Disputes related to execution of the project. We have problem with the, for example, contractor or many contractors. For example, if we have contractor for the electrical contractor for the stations, we have contractor for infrastructure, we have contractor for the buildings. So we have many disputes related to the construction. We have disputes related to the sales and purchase agreements. We will talk about this now. We have practical examples, and we will have disputes with the financing bodies. Also, maybe we will have disputes with the banks. So many disputes. Those are the main classification of them. We'll start with our first case. Developer A is developing a shopping mall. Now, by the way, if you want this lecture, we can send it to you by email. So it's better not to. So just send me emails and I will send it to you. So now, developer A is developing a shopping mall. The purchaser B signed a sales and purchase agreement with A to buy the mall, which was under construction. So the mall is under construction. A is developing the mall. B purchased the mall, which is still under construction. So B paid $13 million to A as a 10% down payment. The remainder will be paid in installments according to agreed schedule of payments. The parties have schedule of payments, and they agreed together that according to this schedule, they will pay the price. Okay. Now, a week after, B signed with A an exclusive agency agreement which enabled A to promote and sign leasing agreements with tenants for the shops of the mall on behalf of B, and in return A will get 15% of each leasing contract value. So now A, who was the owner, became now exclusive agent to sign leasing agreements for the shops. And A will take 15%. Until here, there is no problem, it's easy. But look, the switching of the places. A was owner, now he is a broker at the same time. And I want you to notice something, that in the registration, the temporary register, A is still the owner because B did not pay all amounts, so A the owner and the broker now. A sent to B a forecast schedule for the leasing prices. He wants to make an agreement how much he will lease. He wants now to take the approval of B. According to the mall new price, which became 185 million. So B paid 13 million, which is 10%. That means the mall was 130 million. B exaggerated in their forecast, and they sent to a forecast that now the mall is 185 million, and we will lease according to this amount. B, of course, granted A approval on the leasing values. A signed leasing contracts with tenants by their names because they are still the registered owner of the shopping mall. So A was signing the leasing agreements with his name because he is still the owner. Now, A requested B to complete the payments as per schedule of payments because he paid only 10%. A requested B to give details of statement of account in regard to leasing of the shops. Now, there are leasing of the shops, there are checks. So he, as per the exclusive agency agreement, to make compensation, he said, I will make compensation. Now you have money, you have income for this mall, and this income is mine because I am the owner now. Now A discovered his mistake, so he refused to give details because B failed to pay the second and third installments, so that they did not consider B as an owner because they did not pay more than 10%. B refused to pay any amount before getting statement of account for the leased shops. Accordingly, A sent a contract termination letter stating that B failed to pay the installments, so that they are in breach of contract. They did not pay the amount to the price of the mall. B filed an arbitration case against A based on both agreements, as they are included arbitration clause for resolving disputes. Now, B arguments before the three arbitrators are: A is in default because they refuse to give leasing amounts details which they are collecting them on behalf of B. So B said, I am the owner now, I want from A to give me the details of leasing contracts. And they did not give me that, so they are in breach. Second, so that B is requesting the tribunal to award B the difference between the purchasing price and the new market price of the mall, which became 185 million, beside their advance payment, the 13 million, and all costs. So he needs now the difference, which is 55 million and 13 million. So he wants, yes. Yes.
The first one is A request B to complete the payments.
Yeah.
Second one, A request B the details. Option B.
It is no, so B request, it is sorry here. B request, no, A requested B to complete the payments.
Okay.
B, sorry, yes. B requested A to give details. B requested A. B requested A to give details. Sorry. A refused to give details. This is all correct. Again, A requested B to complete the payments because A is the owner. Now, B requested A to give details of statement of account. A refused to give details because B failed to pay the second and third installments. They did not pay money, so they refused to give them details. And also they signed the contract with their name of A, between A and the new tenants. B arguments before the three arbitrators are: A is in a default because they refuse to give leasing amount details which they are collecting them on behalf of B. So that B is requesting the tribunal to award B the difference between the purchasing price 130 million and the new market price of the mall, which became 185 million. Besides their advance payment, of course, 13 million and all costs. Any question here? Again, or it is understood?
Yeah, plus one.
Yep.
So B.
So that B is requesting the tribunal now to make an award
To himself.
to give him the difference between 130 million and 185 million, because the mall now, the price of the mall now is 185 million.
It's not, it should be the rent, not the price.
No, because A terminates the contract. So they terminate, there is no contract now. You terminate the contract, okay, you took the mall, okay, but give me the difference in prices. Now, the tribunal found that A is in breach of the second agreement because they refused to disclose the collected amounts on behalf of B, as per the exclusive agency agreement. Clear. A is to bear the consequences of their default. The forecast and evaluation of the new price are provided by A, so that they are considered correct and binding on A. Both agreements, sales agreement and exclusive agency agreements, are terminated. So A to pay to B, the profit, which is the increased value of the mall, as per the forecast of A, beside all amounts paid by B to A. A shall bear all arbitration costs. Result: B get the profit, which is 55 million, knowing that they paid only 13 million. Besides that, they got cost of arbitration and legal fees. So, because of the mistakes of A employees, they exaggerated in the forecast. They told B that the mall is 185 million now. Now, when they went to arbitration, the arbitrators applied this amount on them. So there are 55 million they got to pay, and they paid. And this award enforced easily, and it's finalized. So only he paid 13 million and took profit 55 millions in a matter of year and a half. Yes.
So you got 13 plus 55.
Yes.
You got 13 plus 55.
Yes. Yes.
So it's not two contracts. The first contract, A buy to or sold to
B.
owns them.
Yes.
Second one, B let A
Broker.
as a broker.
Yeah.
Okay, but first one is first contract, B not pay the fees for
The second and third installment, yes.
Okay, but this is term, let the contract terminate. Why you not pay? We have schedule.
He said, I will not pay because my agency, which is A,
It's different contract. But
Yes.
the first contract, there is no terms for that. As a first contract, you don't pay, there's termination.
yes, no, if you don't pay, then it is not termination. There are many consequences, not like that to terminate the contract. Maybe you ask them to pay, you will send them a warning letter. They did not make anything. They terminated the contract. They terminated immediately. If it's something else, They terminate the contract immediately. They said, you did not pay, I terminate.
Since the mall was under construction,
Yes.
who was paying the contract?
A was paying the contract.
Why A should pay the A is paying even when B bought it. So if B bought it as finished product, it's not.
Yes, as finished product.
He doesn't buy it under
No. He will pay the installment. Maybe the mall is not costing 130 million. It maybe cost 80, 90. You see? So they bought it with, they consider them, they have 40 million, for example, profit. And they sell it.
So he was greedy, he wants to get the little profit.
Yes.
Sorry.
Yes.
Why would A tell B that the mall value is higher? What is the benefit for A?
They said that the market is going up and we want to make now, we want to sign leasing contracts with the tenants. We will sign it according to this. The mall is 185, the leasing is 10%, so the 18.5 million are the rent. Do you accept that? He said, yes, I accept. And then the arbitrator, they have this number, they applied this number on them. They said, you said the mall at 185.
Backfired.
Yeah, backfired there.
Actually, this is my question, that, the value, one value is 130, that is a selling value.
Yes.
And then 185 million is also a selling value.
It is market value.
Right, so how is the calculation?
Maybe 10%. It is up to 10% of the 18.5 million. It will come 10%, 18.5 million will come. So they said that the more now, the market, this is the mistake of the employee. They said, the market is going up, it is 185. Maybe it is not 185. But this employee, they are exaggerated. Okay, and we will rent it to you in 18.5 million. Okay, and then when the problem happened, they fell in the trap.
I think they are trying to get more commission from the
Yes, more commission.
The higher the value, the higher the rent, the higher the agency fee.
Yes, and then they paid all of that.
So can this decision be challenged by A?
No, this is arbitration award. Arbitration award has one way to be challenged, is the nullifying case. Only one. Either you nullify the case or the award is. Nullifying must be based on procedures. If procedures are correct and right, there is no basis for nullifying the award. So, and this award, as I told you, has been, I was the lawyer of the B. Actually, the lawyer of A commit mistakes. He must separate the two cases. In that case, they will apply. He accept to put them together. If he separate them, and this one you did not pay me, okay, that one we'll see. And the harm of the leasing is 1 million, half million, 2 million, what is nothing. But yes, he put of the million on the big one, and then they lost together. If you separate them, then he will say they are not one contract. I don't accept to have two different contracts in one. Yes, case, yeah, he can.
In that case, it would have been nullified. In that case, in that event, if two contracts were pursued separately.
Yes, separately. You can file first arbitration case, second arbitration. He can tell that the other contract has no direct relation with the first contract financially. Maybe they have some, but not to this maximum. And also, there are other mistakes committed by the lawyer, which is, okay, we said that the price of the market 185, but he did not brought any purchaser. This is first. Second, he did not say that it will be purchased. Third, he did not pay the amount, so he is not full owner. So at least we are still sharing this one. And there are many defenses. The lawyer did not depend on them. He was depending that he did not pay, we will not give him the account. And they were thinking that releasing these contracts, tenancy contracts, is the problem. Okay, show him to them. What is the show? This is the how much they cash money. They cash post, they the checks. They did not cash money. And there are another issue for this case. I was, as I've told you, the lawyer of this case. Actually, the manager of that company A, he came and met with us before the arbitration, for party arbitration. My client told him, okay, give us 120 million and we'll close the chapter.
Dirhams.
No, dollars. Because he paid, dirhams, yes. He paid 13, that means double the price, 26 million. That means pay us $26 million and we'll close the chapter. Okay? He said, let me go back and see my company. When he go back, he was a manager, he was not the chairman. He told the chairman, the board of the company that I think they have rights, so it's better to give them. So, no, we'll not give them double the price. What to give them 30 million? They will took only their check. Because they refused this, and the manager could not also press harder because he was afraid to let them, okay, go to arbitration. In the arbitration, they lose. Now, A is a master developer. Sold to developer B a plot to build an offices building on the plot. A is to complete the infrastructure of the project during 3 years. B is to finalize his office building during 3 years of the agreement date. The construction of the office building needs only 2 years. So he put the plot, he needs 2 years to make the construction, and he has 3 years period, and the owner has 3 years period to finalize the infrastructure. A started the infrastructure works but slowly. After 1 year, the progress of the infrastructure in the project was less than 20%. And after 3 years, the infrastructure progress did not exceed 60%. B never started the work in the office building. B actually registered the project in the temporary register and started selling the offices to the purchasers. Now he has to start selling. B is in trouble with the purchasers. B filed an arbitration case against A to bear the consequences of delaying the project by not finalizing the infrastructure. He did not start the office. Okay, good. Are you engineer or a lawyer? Engineer. Engineer or lawyer? Engineer. Okay, good. Because engineer or the lawyer? Lawyer. Contractor. Engineer? Engineer. Okay. Most of you are engineers. Okay, good. We have one lawyer at least. Okay. I'll tell you now engineering thing. Because now, this is for the engineers, question for the engineers. If you have 90% percentage, the infrastructure percentage is 90%, and your office building is finished, can you use this office building? No. If it is 95% finished, can you use it? Without electricity, let's say without electricity. No, I'll tell you. Can you use it without electricity, without ittisalat? No. Okay. Without water, no. Without any one of them.
Start to mobilizing whatever offices. They can start.
Start what?
Yeah. Start to put furniture, start to make decorative.
Yes, I'll tell you now. I have visited a building where it was finished 100%. And when the purchaser came and asked the developer, he said, everybody come and take his key. And then there is no roads, there is no infrastructure, there is no electricity. So, you must be sure 100% that the infrastructure is finished to use this building. Because if it is 99% finished, if all of the drainage finished, but only the last main pipe is not connected to the station, you cannot use this, you cannot use the toilets. So the building cannot be used. So if it is 90%, it is zero, and that's what I've told the judge. If the infrastructure percentages is 90%, that means it is zero. Either it is 100% or zero. There is no middle. Either I can use the building or I cannot. You cannot use your car if there is no wheel. You see, 100% or no. So when this one, he did not build his office, he is right. He cannot make a building and finalize the building and look at it, he cannot use it. He must be sure 100% that the infrastructure must be finished. He must, if at least you will start, if I see that you must finish it in 3 years. You did not finish it in 3 years. How many years you will take? Maybe 3 years you finish 60%. Maybe after 1 year you stopped. And that happened. So the problem was signing the contract. From the beginning, the contract is wrong. I must be sure that you will finish, because the purchaser will file the cases against the developer who bought from him. And he bought from the main developer. I have seen projects now, 10 years, the infrastructure did not finish. It is 60% since 4 years. The same 60% since 4 years. So if you can build towers in 4 years, and then what you will?
There is one point.
Yeah. Yeah.
The first term, we must finish infrastructure in 3 years.
Yeah.
The second term, to finalize this building
In 3 years. So the infrastructure finish and this one
still
finish.
in condition of the contract.
Yes.
But we don't mention about the starting date.
No. No. But now, let's see. The infrastructure did not finish, still 60%. That means still zero. And he did not give a forecast when he can finish it. So when it will be finished? When can I start and finish my building? Also, I am hurted because I have to clock, I want to work, I cannot work because you did not finish the infrastructure. The result of this, the result of the court to the arbitrator here decided that B has the right, because he sold the units and the A did not finalize the infrastructure, and the case was against him. They terminated the contract.
What about the
Purchaser, they compensate him for the cases which is filed against B. Compensated from A. Because he got to bear the consent. He must, because it is connected obligations. The first one he must finish and he doesn't finish. You did not finish and we don't know when you will finish. Because there are letters when you will finish the infrastructure. He said the infrastructure, I gave it to another company, the other company needs money, the money is not in the escrow account, then a long story. Then the arbitrator discovered that it is very vague. We don't know when the infrastructure will be finished.
No, purchaser can make case for B?
No, no, on B, on B. But these cases are accumulated and transferred the amounts to A will bear the consequence. Because according to you, A law, who harmed the other, he got to bear the consequences. And I have seen a judgment, not arbitration, a judgment in the court. There is a contractor who signed a contract with the owner to build a villa for 3.5 billion. It's normal. And then the contractor delayed. After that, the prices went down. The villa price was 25 million, and then it became to 30 million. So 12 million drop in the price because of the market price. The owner requested the judge to order the contractor to pay him the 12 million. And the judge gives judgments like that. Because the contractor delay caused problem to the owner and he lost 12 million. And he ordered that. This is judgment in the court.
The loss is the return on the investment, not the market value. Because the guy, if he finished it on time, he would have rented it for a certain amount.
Not rented it, he want to sell it. He want to sell it. The price was 25 million. And now the price is 13 million. He lost 12 million because that contractor delayed 1 year to 2 years. Here, the lawyer can understand this and the judges. What they just say, you let that person lose the chance of selling the villa. Losing the chance, understood me now, losing the chance, you got to pay to bear the consequences. There's a chance for him to sell it for 25 million. You lost the chance because you are delaying. Okay, 10% delay penalty is something, but there is a chance of selling with this price. You are wasting this chance. Now, we see nowadays, this is some engineering example here. A is a master developer, sold to the purchaser B an office in the new building. The gross area of the office is 102 square feet only. A finished the building. After handing over the office, B discovered that the net area of the office is only 302 square feet. So here we have the area, here we have the net area, not the area. B filed an arbitration case against A because of shortage in the area. A argued before the arbitral tribunal that the area is correct as per the engineer, that means engineer with capital E, you know that means the consulting office, calculations. And the plan is the same of the brochure. They saw on the brochure, they built it as same as the brochure, they did not change anything. The building is executed as per the drawing without changes. So no changes, the brochure, everything is okay, the sound of the drawings, everything. Now, the tribunal appointed a technical expert. The expert found that the calculation of the engineer, the consulting office, were wrong. The engineer did not include the parking area inside the net area of the building. This is a mistake. On the contrary, the engineer added the parking area to the common area, so that there were big differences in the calculation of the areas. And also there were some mistakes in the calculation. They discovered at the end that the gross area is only 600 feet, not 102. So that there is a shortage to 202. So first mistake, the parking. The parking, many engineers make a mistake here. The private parking is net area, not common area. So they calculate the parking as common area. So the net area will be less. This is wrong. But the passage between the parking, this is common area. And also, how to calculate the areas differ from country to country. For example, the balcony is considered common area in UK, where it is in London, where it is considered here net area, out of the net area. So there is difference, because what is the meaning of balcony there, and what is the meaning of balcony here? And in some, for example, I think in Asian countries, they consider the carpet, they consider the carpet for common areas, and they consider that. So there are differences how to calculate the net and common. You are using bricks or not using bricks, or using SSMP3, or many kinds. So the engineer not always right when he calculates the area. For this, actually for this case here, there are two problems. First of all, that they put the area is 802. When you put the area, you must define what area, gross area, what you mean by gross area. And net area, what you mean by net area. And they were having here another problem actually. It was a plot, according to the brochure, when they sold this plot to that lady, it was a brochure. They said it is 102. Okay. But in fact, when she entered to the plot she wants to hand over, she found a big column, 110 centimeter, inside this office. So you cannot use this office at all. At all. Because imagine that you have a small area, what is this 800? This is nothing, very small. And then if you have 1 meter, 110 centimeter diameter column, you cannot use this space. And they did not put this in the drawing. So she has a plain office, but in practical there is a column. So there are two reasons for her to terminate this contract and take back their money, her money. Yes.
Just she take back her money, or there is any penalty?
Yes, not penalty. Compensation. Compensation. According to the, actually, there are problems here in the arbitrations if you have arbitrator of common law background or civil law background. The compensation differ between them, and how they look at the contract, they differ. It's very much different. So, for example, if you know FIDIC contracts, and in FIDIC contracts, there are the 28 days bar in the 1999 FIDIC. Is the 28 days bar time applied in UAE or not? Can we say to the party that you did not send a letter during these 28 days, we will not give you your money, and you must complete the construction?
No one uses one.
In practice, the common law lawyers, when they are arbitrators, they apply it. They don't give you. You are giving this from your common sense. You are not depending on any specific law articles. But I will explain to you that your common sense, according to civil law, is right. But according to common law, is wrong. Why? Because in common law systems, they are considering this part of the procedures. For that, they accepted the bar. We bar you from taking your amounts if you did not send a letter during 28 days. But in civil law countries, they consider it part of the subject. And there is unjust enrichment. You are not allowed to take my money. I built this building for you. I did not send you a letter during 28 days, but this building is there and you can sell it. How do you sell it? How do you sell my money? And you took it. It is not allowed in civil law. In common law, there are rules you got to follow a procedure. So they will not give you your money. If an arbitrator from common law background, he will not give the money and accept the bar. Now, we have another example. A is the first purchaser, B is the second purchaser. That means I have a unit, I have two purchasers now. A purchased a whole floor inside the tower, which is under construction. The price will be paid according to the agreed schedule of payments. The owner finished the tower and refused to hand over the floor to A because of failing in paying the last 3 installments. B paid to A all the price as per the contract between them and requested the handing over. B filed court case against A and the owner together, assuming that they are having hidden agreements between them to forbid him from having his flat because the prices are going up. Prices up, he considers they are cosplaying on him. They don't want to give him his flat. Okay? Now, discussion. If the market prices were going down, what will A do? If the market will go down, he will not say that there is a hidden agreement. Actually, this case happened, and There is another case similar to this. There is an arbitration about it. The owner, after finishing the building, he did not accept to hand over because the first purchaser did not pay his money to him. Okay? Now, purchaser B give that purchaser the money. So the relation between them, arbitration between them, not related to the owner. So that our advice here, always when you buy something, try to make your contract with the owner. In between, your rights may be lost. And that one, the middleman here, actually he broke and the money went and the purchaser did not took his flat.
So you recommend that all receipts must be issued by the developer?
Yes, you must.
If you're the second purchaser?
Second purchaser, you must cancel that contract and pay the owner directly with him.
Yes.
Terminate that contract, cancel it, and put yourself directly with him. He will finish, he will give it to you. But if you are the second or the third, you have no right with him.
There's a good end, there is a good, right? Pre-tied deal.
Yes, now, look, you are the owner, but the problem, you want to own the paper, you want to own the flat. You are the owner of the paper at this time, but you want to own the flat. See, you want to have it. Now the registry, the temporary registry is very good because every single purchase or sales must be registered. So now it is more organized. Before this case was common, but now in Dubai, the temporary register, you go there, each payment must be the escrow account, each new purchaser must have contract registered in RERA, so like that it is it's much better now. Now, I have here an example of a mistake happened when a developer depends on his only in-house lawyer. He bought a building, a tower. The building was under construction and stopped. Then he bought it from the first developer and he became developer. Of course, when you bought a building, you bought it with all of the contracts or the obligations or all the liabilities, and you'll have all the rights. Okay? So like that, he bought that building, and the first developer was having sales and purchase agreements with many purchasers. Okay? And he collected the money all calculated and all in escrow account. There is no mistakes in this. All the amounts are correct, everything is correct, there is no play. Still, this is not enough for the developer to do that. Actually, if you want to buy like these buildings, you must be very, very, very careful. I remember a case, not this case, I remember a case where a bank, very big bank, international bank, bought a building which is 90% finished, only remaining 10%. So nothing clear. And there is no single purchaser net. Okay? They did not sell any apartment. And he bought it very clear. And then, when they finished, they finalized the contract, they discovered that they could not obtain the completion certificate from the municipality because there are hidden cables and under that building are problems of these cables. They want to move it and it will cost them millions. Nobody disclosed this to them at the beginning. So even they bought a net building without purchasers, without anything, they found a problem. Always, like these deals, must have a good lawyer and good expert in the field. By mean expert in the field, engineer who has expertise in real estate contracts and buildings, and he must look at it not only from engineering side, structural design or architectural design or electric. No. We want to see what problems could be there. The electricity could be connected, paid or not paid. This is very important. So at that time they discovered they could not obtain completion certificate. They finalized the building and spent a lot of money to remove these cables outside the plot, and they pay all of these costs, which was not considered in the budget, because there is no expert in the field. The lawyer cannot discover this, even if he is very professional lawyer in the field, he cannot discover this. I will tell you examples now how that could apply in a way where the developer lost money. Let's see this example now. A is the old developer who stopped the project. B is the new developer who bought the project, high-rise residential tower, and continued the construction works without carefully examining the sales and purchase agreement between A and the purchasers of the units. So they did not carefully examine this, in this case, the sales and purchase agreements which the first developer made them. The first developer made them in a good faith. There is no play. The amounts are all correct. The money is in the escrow account. So when you see a net project. The problem was, a very big problem. C is the purchaser of the unit from A. During handing over, so because B finalized the building and he handed over to C. During discovered that the net area is less than the contractual area. You come here to the area. B argued that the selling was on the gross area, not on the net area. So this is the argument, that the selling was on the gross area, not the net area. He is correct. B is correct. B is correct, the selling was on the gross area, but still we have a problem. The expert who was appointed by the arbitrator discovered that the area in the contract was clarified as gross area, like we what he said, and it is equal to. That is the mistake which is written in the contract. They put the gross area equal the net area plus common area. This is correct, but they don't put the amount of the common area 1% of the net area. If you are expert in the field, you know it is not possible to be 1%. 20, 25%, 15%, something like that. But they put it here 1%. So each one will come, he will calculate the net area and add 1%. This is the common area, and the gross area. Okay? Now, as per consultant calculation, the common area equal to 27% of the net area. So the seller is selling now each unit at 26% less in area, because only 1% will consider for him, and it is 20%. So he is losing 26% of the price, and he must return to all purchasers 26% of the prices. His profit is 20. He, after light building, he lost 6% because the mistake was in not appointing a professional expert in the field to examine the sales and purchase agreements. Some of them they downloaded from the internet and they sell. You are selling a tower with 150 unit, depending on internet form of contract. So B is to be the difference in prices for the whole tower, because a mistake in the contract applicate to all units. All units are less in 26%, and he paid them. He could not do anything. I'll tell you a story about another case similar to this. I was a lawyer also. You might mention the slides. The owner download from the internet sales and purchase agreement. I don't know how stupid he was. They put this sales and purchase agreement for selling on net areas. He just amend some words and make it gross area according to his mind. He did not brought a lawyer, he did not brought a professional engineer. And he sold the tower. Then it is clear that he sold the property. He sold gross area, that's what he did. But when the calculation came, he put the calculation of the net area. The calculation of the contract, how to calculate, he put how to calculate the net area. He did not mention how to calculate the gross area. And then the purchaser purchased 150 units from this tower, and then filed an arbitration case against him, saying that I have a problem in 150 units. So I want the difference in prices because you have sold me net area. Then I was the lawyer of the client who is the developer, first one. I told him, we don't know the result. But from my point of view, you have put the gross area, you have sold property, you put it, gross area, you put property, and then he put how to calculate net area. So it is a big little bit, but from point of view, you can say you are selling property and gross area. Then the arbitrator decisions was opposite. The arbitrator said the purchaser is a layman, so he looked how to calculate the net area. He will calculate the net area. This is the area for him. He cannot understand common gross property. What is there? He's not professional. So this is. So I consider him layman, and I consider the areas which is calculated by the seller is not correct, and then he awarded him the differences. The differences was 50 million dirhams. Not small amount. So sometimes mistake, he downloaded, he saved 20 or 30 or 50,000 dirhams for not going to a lawyer and good professional to make contact with him. He paid 50 million dirhams and they paid them. I know that at the end that award enforced. Sometimes mistakes happen. I go back to the infrastructure project. I remember now a case I want to tell you, but it was a court case. The case was a developer purchased a plot from the main developer, and then the main developer must make the infrastructure without stating dates. Then we went to the site. RERA evaluation was, if there is infrastructure, the plot value is 500 million dirhams, which is the sales and purchase agreement between them. If there is no infrastructure, the value is 28 million dirhams only. So either 28 or 500 million. And I was court expert, I want to decide this or that. So if I say there is no infrastructure, it's 28. In fact, the purchaser paid 300 million and they gave him the check with another 100 million. It bounced from the bank, but at the end they put it in the court and there is another 100 to be paid. And this injuncture, they filed the case. I went to the site. I did not find the infrastructure completed. It was around 10%. I told the judge, there is no infrastructure. Then they must return 75 millions with interest, with. They did not accept this, and they said, oh, that expert is mistaken. We need 3 experts to check the site. The appeal court gave them 3 experts to check the site, and they checked the site. They said, yes, there is no infrastructure, but also the developer did not build the building. Did not build the building. Then the judge of appeal did not took that report. He go back to my report. He said, there is no infrastructure. That means the one who did the first make the breach. The main developer who did make that. So this is his breach. And second one, because according to Article 272 of UAE Civil Code 5 on 1985, if one of the parties who has did not fulfill his obligation, which up to the other party, has the right to delay the obligations. So the first one who delayed the obligation is the main developer. He is in breach. The other party has the right to delay. So the first one here did not accept, did not fulfill the obligation, did not make the infrastructure. The other party had the right to delay his building. And then in the appeal court, they returned to my report and they said that this report is correct and the plot is 28 million, not 500 million. They went to Court of Cassation, the Court of Cassation attested that judgment, and at the end, they paid all the money and they paid 160 million interest because of delay. Now, there are some common rules I want to explain to you. The developer who is developing the plot is responsible 10 years for the safety of the structure. So it is the decennial liability, 10 years. This decennial liability, the one who is building the structure. Here I want to explain to you there are some common problems when you brought engineering office from outside and you put an engineering office who has office located in the area and can approach the municipality. They call it architect of record, and this architect of record submit the drawing to the municipality and took approvals. And then the first one who did the design and the first one who is responsible to supervision, and if the building collapse, who is responsible for the tenant? The architect of record, who is postman, or the real engineer and consultant who has no office here and no registration and no name on the drawings. So when you are making like these kinds of contracts, you must take care where is the decennial liability and who is responsible for this decennial liability. You will lose it if you are looking like that. They did not, I have seen a building not collapsed, but after 2 years, a problem happened with the retaining walls, and the water was leaking inside and corrupting the. So who will mend this? The maintenance or fixing this problem costing 5 million dirhams. Who will pay the 5 million dirhams? The architect of record, or the owner, or the consultant, or the contractor, who is responsible. Now they found that there is a mistake in the designs. Okay, the designs came from another country and that office is in UK. He's not here. And the municipality knows the engineer who is here, and this one he did not took enough money, he was only postman. So like these issues, we must take care about them when we are making contracts and building. It is not easy to bring another. Where is the liabilities? Where are the liabilities? Yes?
Now, normally, the single liability is the responsibility of the contractor.
No.
The engineer has professional liability indemnity. So the engineer does not have provided by the contractor who construct the project.
No. The law.
Still from the side.
No. Let
Not will be covered by the by the professional.
let me reply to you, clarify this point to you. It is not the matter of PI, whether there is PI or there is no PI. The law is clear. The contractor and the consultant are jointly and severally liable 10 years. You have PI, you don't have PI, it is something else. It is very short sentence in the law and very clear.
Even the serial period cannot be raised in accordance with the contract.
And this cannot be, and even if the owner give a letter to the consultant that you are not liable, the law did not accept this letter. If the owner gives a letter to the contractor, you are not liable, the law did not accept that. They don't care about professional liability. They are both responsible together jointly. I was witnessing a building. A building, what happened? The engineer eating an apple inside the building, in the lobby, looking at the building. Very fine building. Finished, finalized, cleaned, everything is okay. Everything. Then when he was biting his apple, and this is real example, the foreman from there, sir, come here. What? He went out, then the building collapsed. He was thinking that there is a fighting outside. Actually, the foreman showed the cracks, and because he is very expert foreman, he knows that this building will collapse and his engineer is inside. So he was shouting at him, come here. The engineer came out and all the building collapsed in place. It is finished 100% and clean. And I went there as an expert to check and see. What is the problem? The owner is very dear friend of the consultant. They were together in the school, they were together in the municipality, in the university, they graduated together, they worked together. So he has the building, he told, okay my friend, now the drawing, I made it with my engineer, please sign here. No need to supervision, this is my building, you are my friend. Okay, go. So when we say in engineering that this one for design, the other one for supervision, we need eyes. We don't want one eye to see it. We need eyes, 1 eye, 2 eyes, 3 eyes, 4 eyes, 5 engineers to check if there is a mistake. So if it is 1 eye, he will not see the mistake. And that's what happened. The engineer of the contractor, he will not cheat himself, but he will not see the mistakes. And there are many mistakes there. The mistakes in concrete, the contractor is the owner. You know the banks here do not give you loan if you are the contractor and owner. Because they want 2 eyes, they don't want 1 eye. So the contractor is the owner, is the engineer, is the consultant, is everything. Superman. So this Superman commit many mistakes, the building collapse. And now the owner doesn't know what to do. He filed a case against the contractor and then the contractor put the consultant inside. We are responsible together in the decimal liability, 10 years. And we discovered that the designs was very critical. And some mistake in the welding. I checked the weld, found that the welding, I found the cracks down, I found that it is shear problems, not moment problems, shear problems. So we have steel structure welding, and we have shear problems, concrete not very good, and the building collapsed. And the contractor put here with him for the decimal liability. Each one could pay the amount of the whole building. Each one of them, because the owner can show this. But the owner is a friend of the engineer, but he cannot take him out of the case. So, alhamdulillah, nobody is hurted. So,
Who did the 5 million? In the previous example you were mentioning, there was a design flaw and some water was coming in. So in this case, the consultant got the contractor.
Actually, I advise the owner You pay the 5 million because you will save your building. If the water will leak more and more, you know, in the concrete, if there is what you call water leaking, after that there will be like explosion. The steel will be rusted, and when it was rusted, it became bigger. Not smaller, yes. 3 times, okay. So when it comes like that, there is like explosion in the concrete. So you must take care of your building. You have building with 400 million dirhams. You finish this case, fix it, and then go sue any one of them and see what you want to do. But don't wait until the case is finished in the court, because you have 400 million dirham building. Yes?
And in this case, who should be responsible?
Look, the one who is responsible before the courts here is the engineer and the contractor who are outside. That means the architect of record.
But if it's a design mistake, how
If it is his mistake, because the design came by him to the municipality, his name and his signature.
from the consultant?
From the consultant, yes. But in reality, you can't say that this is a contract, but there is hidden contract between the owner and another office who make the design. Then on that contract, there is, for example, that one arbitration case, international arbitration case between the owner and the consultant.
So the owner can also sue the designers since they give a faulty design?
Yes, yes. But the problem when you are suing, I have a case where a Korean company and Belgian company, they want to execute a project in Dubai, okay? But connection, they have this project. But when they want to start this project, they found that they could not execute it because there is no companies, local companies here. The foreign company cannot execute anything here. So what they did, the Belgian company put Belgium Dubai company, and the Korean company make Korean Dubai company. So this one has an arm here, and that one has an arm here. And then these companies, they execute the project. One the main contractor, this one subcontractor. Okay. Now problems happen with them, and the judge told me how much the Korean company must pay to the Belgian company. He's talking about Dubai companies. I told him 0. He told me the Belgian company and the Korean company, how much want to pay there. I told him 0. They did not execute anything in Dubai. In Dubai, there is Belgian Dubai company and there is Korean Dubai company. Those are having the contracts, and they are not part of the case. They are not parties of the case. And then again, he told me, I told him no, 0, because outsider company has no project in Dubai. And then the judge did not convince me. He returned it 3 times to me. The 3rd time I told him also, you must know that these companies in Dubai has private entity and not the same owner of that one. So Belgium Dubai company is not branch of the Belgium company. It is a new company. And the Korean Dubai company is a new company. Has no relation with the mother company, or that one is another company. So those companies who are suing each other, for me, connection between them is 0. And I insisted on my report. If those companies are party of the case, then there's something else. I will talk about this. I have another case where 2 companies here in Dubai have signed 6 contracts. 3 of them to be executed in Dubai, 1 to be executed in Kuwait, which is inside UAE, and 2 in Qatar. And then they have in these 6, and 1 filed a case against the other about in these 6 contracts. And the judge transferred the case to me. I told him, look, the 3 contracts in Dubai, these are the solutions. But the contract for Kuwait, there is owner and contractor there, though those people have no relation. Even those people, they appoint that owner and they wrote that contractor. But they have no relation there. They are all of the paper, all the documents between the consultant and the contractor there, all the everything, the contracts there. What to do with those? And in Qatar, the same. There are Qatari companies there. owner from Qatar and the contractor from Qatar. Those people have no relation with them. Because there is a relation between those companies in Qatar. And if there are liabilities in Qatar, what is related to those people here? So I give 0, 0, 0. And they were not happy, oh, money, okay, your money, but you have no relation. So when you are signing the contract to execute something, you must know what are the consequences. What is the decisional liability? Who is responsible? Who is the contractor is responsible, he is signing. The consultant is responsible, he is signing.
Sorry, one question back to the collapsed building. Can the building constructor sue the consultancy for giving them a wrong design?
Yes. Yes. Yes, he can say that the mistake is in the design. I have no mistake. So the consultant is responsible, not responsible. The problem here, to comment on that question, some contractors say the contractor is to revise the design. What is the meaning of that? I myself, I'm talking about Kamal Malas, I don't understand this. I don't understand. Is it mean the contractor must revise everything and be the designer? No. So what he will revise? I think he will revise the coordination. There is a pipe here coming inside the beam, the pipe crossing the room, like that. But to redesign the building, this is something that costs millions and needs expertise. Your engineer who are passing the exam and the test of the municipality, you are passing it because they are belong to construction side. So the questions to them is belonging to construction. The engineer of the consultant, they are passing another test related to design. So we cannot consider those engineers who are in the fields always designers. From my point of view, they can't design anything. Because designing is a specialty. The engineer who is in the site, he cannot design. You cannot say engineer. We are engineers, the old. We are people. I'm graduated in 1976. I'm an engineer. I'm designer, supervisor. When we studied at university, we studied steel structure, we studied concrete, we studied design, we studied supervision. We make design for whole village, pipe, water pipe and drainage. So at that time, it was civil engineer. Now we have management. This management engineer cannot design anything. We have structural designer, he can design, but he cannot do so. So now our study is now divided into 7 groups. So we cannot say engineer. No, engineer no. Because what engineer? This one, structural designer, manager, MEP, what is his specialty? So when you say in the drawing that contractor will revise the drawing, what that you mean? He has a consulting office inside the construction company? No. So the contractor is not responsible for the design. He'll be responsible for when he makes shop drawing, he discover that some ducts, and also he is responsible in the design for the very appearance mistakes. For example, if I have combined footing and then the steel from bottom is higher than the steel from top. This is a mistake. The steel on top must be bigger and more than the steel on the bottom. If I found that, because the pressure is from down, coming up, this combined will work like this, not like the ceiling like that. So the steel in the ceiling here, the steel in the combined footing on top. So this is common. When I see a cantilever and the steel in the bottom, on top there is nothing or something thin. So this is common mistake. The contractor must see it, and usually they can see it. Even the steel worker can understand this and see that. But not redesign the building. This is a mistake. This is common knowledge. We go back to our arbitration. The developer who is developing the plot responsible 10 years for the safety of the structure. Now, another area is ordering area to register or cancel registration of ownership is of public policy nature. So that arbitration is not accepted in these cases. So we cannot, even if there is an arbitration clause inside the sales and purchase agreement, and the dispute is about registering in RERA or not, this must go to the court. Because I, as an arbitrator, cannot order a government body to do something. And private sector, I cannot. So this is public policy. I cannot work against public policy. And the thing which is, the disputes which are of public policy nature cannot be arbitrated. Criminal cases cannot be arbitrated. I'm talking about UAE. Other countries, criminal cases are arbitrated. Or settlement be arbitrated. I'm talking about UAE. Okay? So RERA could exercise its right and terminate the contract after giving 1 month's notice to the purchaser to pay the dues. We have many cases where the purchaser did not pay the installments. And what the developer can do, he told RERA, oh, they are not paying. RERA sent them a notice, 1 month notice, either you pay or we terminate the contract. And they can terminate it. Now many judges said that this is not right because maybe there are some connections or relations between the parties. But here I can tell you that RERA is applying their own laws. According to their own law, they can do that. And then if there is something wrong, or then you can file a case and we'll see the judge what will do. But according to their own law, they do that. Article 2A of Law number 9, 2009, in case the developer completed at least 80% of the project, then developer may keep 100% of all amounts paid and seek payment of any outstanding amounts. So, if he finished the project and the purchaser did not pay, the developer can tell RERA, please send him 30 days notice. They did not pay, so the developer will confiscate 100% of amount paid, and he can claim also at least 80% of the project. Claim also if there is payment to be paid. According to the percentage of payments, we would see that there is a percentage in the law. This is law. Article 11.2b, if the developer has completed 60% of the project, the developer may terminate the contract and also deduct for its favor up to 40% of the purchase price of the unit. So if the purchaser did not pay 40%, he can sue him and tell, give me the rest. I need 40% and I will not give you anything. This is the law. And also Article 11.2c, if the developer has commenced construction but has not reached completion 60% of the project, the developer may terminate the contract and deduct for its favor up to 25% of the purchase price for the unit. With that, we conclude our lecture, and thank you very much for listening.